Rivers State Judicial Commission of Inquiry set up to investigate the destruction of some local government secretariats had summoned the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The commission asked Wike, the immediate past governor of the state, to appear before it on Monday 19, 2024. The summons was contained in an advertorial by the commission titled Summons under Section 7 and 8 of the Rivers State Commission of Inquiry Law, Cap 30, dated November 12, but released on Thursday. It was signed by the chairman of the panel, Justice I.R. Minakiri, and obtained by our correspondent. The document read, pursuant to the call and receipt of memoranda by the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into the arson, killings, and wanton destruction of property at some local government council headquarters in Rivers State, a very pertinent message conveyed to the public by direct statement and in songs by persons in a video clip posted on the internet, downloaded and submitted by the Emoha Local Government Council concerning Your Excellency Nyesom Wike, former governor of Rivers State and current minister of the Federal Capital Territory, places a demand on the commission to respectfully call Your Excellency for reaction before the commission. A copy of this summons has been sent to Your Excellency along with the said video clip by courier service for Your Excellency's ease of listening and necessary reaction. By the invitation, Your Excellency's reaction is expected before the Commission on 19th November 2024, time 11 a.m., venue Block C, Court 15, Rivers State High Court Complex, Port Harcourt. Please take note that the Commission will conclude sitting on the 21st November 2024. Also summoned to appear before the panel was the chairman of the All Progressive Congress Caretaker Committee in Rivers State, Chief Tony Okocha, who is also an ally of the FCT minister. Others were the former chairman of Ikwere Local Government Area, Dr. Samuel Wanosike, the former local government chairman of Eleme Ahoda West, Obiakpo Local Government Areas, Obari Lomate Olo, Hope Ikriko, and George Ariolu, respectively, who are all expected to appear before the commission on November 18, a day before Wike's appearance. ATM recalls that aside from Wike and Okocha, who are the latest additions, the commission on October 28, 2024 summoned 109 persons across local government areas where post-election violence was recorded to appear before it in connection with the disturbances. Emmy, what do you make of this story?
I'm an advocate of if you do, you should be called to account for those your doings. If we must have a working state, everybody must ensure that our actions complies with the rule of the game. What is the rule of the game? The rule of the game are the operating laws of the land, the gronom, and those laws that are made in line with the provisions of the gronom at the state level. A panel of inquiry, I think, is just like an advisory body who is trying to find out certain facts with regard to certain issues. A panel of inquiry is not a court. A panel of inquiry does not have that prosecutorial powers to prosecute somebody. It's just maybe whatever they do, the outcome will be a kind of a recommendation made to the person who set it up. In this case, maybe the state government. But however, in trying to make sure that people pay for their doings, it should also be in line with goodwill. It should not be something of vendetta or pose the position of I must bring you down or humiliate you. I don't support such an action. From the list that are posted here, and critically, if you x-ray the panel of inquiry, you will know it's a committee that is set up for a certain political drive. And it is bent on achieving that political drive to satisfy certain nefarious and self-centered political quests. And I will not support such an event. You summon Nyesom Wike. I don't have anything with Nyesom Wike, with all due respect. I have not met him one-on-one before. I don't have any pally with him. In fact, I remember in this state, Rivers State, several times people were pursuing me. Some people were even asking me to leave the state because I was criticizing his administration. So what am I trying to say here is this. You are summoning the man to come and give his own account or testimony on allegation of arson, isn't it? That he did what? That he did what? That property were burnt. Was it the one that hired boys to go and burn the property? He said
they were chanting his name in the video. They were chanting his name when they were singing songs and stuff like that in video that went viral.
I remember at a time where the issue of Boko Haram was so, you know, so strong in the northern part of Nigeria. I remember that the Boko Haram named 30 persons to speak on their behalf. Prominent names in this country, likes of Wallace Oyenka, likes of, you know, some other person. Does it mean that those names are mentioned are members of Boko Haram? I remember when the issue of militancy was taking prominence in the Niger Delta, when they were calling for a talk or whatever, some of them named Chief Pa Ike Clark as a man to represent them in the discussion. They mean that Chief Pa Ike Clark is the sponsor of militancy in the Niger Delta. So today, if I went on the road, I begin to shout, hey, Governor Simfubara, and I engage in wanton destruction of public property or assets. So it means that Governor Simfubara that sent me. People can become mischievous. People who want to do something, I just want to maybe lambast somebody or dent somebody's image. That is not enough evidence to prove that this person is behind this or sponsor this. For me, it's just a kind of shenanigans you try to invite because his name was mentioned. Have we not seen people? Some people go to places to commit a crime and they shout Allah Akbar. Doesn't mean that it's Quran or the Prophet Muhammad or the Islamic faith that are encouraging them to go and do that. I've also seen people who are shouting in the name of Jesus Christ and they are duping people in the market, cheating people. Doesn't mean that Christ sanctioned them to go and dupe people and cheat people in the market. So people can become mischievous. If you must do anything, come with tangible evidences that are undisputable. And people will say, yes, this one is like that. We remember Oputa panel. It was issues like this that actually make Oputa panel to become a watery event. Like you just felt that this is it, and you set up 30 persons on a political mission to go and, you know, carry out your vendetta moves. And at the end of the day, the good idea of the whole thing became a very watery event that Nigeria has even regretted spending their money in such an event. It's the same thing here. You panel of inquiry, you can't action anybody. Just say you compel people to come and testify before you because it's not a court. You summon. The person has right to say I will come, I may not come. You go to court and say I enforce that your right.
All right, very well. Laurie Godwin, what do you have to say to this story?
Well, my heart beats and I'm saddened in the very pathetic situation we had on our hand on the 7th of October, 2024. Because after the conduct of the council polls on October 5th, the elected chairmen were actually sworn in on October 6th, and they were supposed to go take over their respective council secretariats October 7th. You recall that after the governor sworn in the chairman, he asked them to immediately hit the ground running by going to work the following day, which was Monday. I was part of the delegation that went to the Element Local Government Secretariat on that fateful day. And I can tell you what I saw, the wanton and malicious destruction of this element I'm talking about now, of our common wealth, of our landmark edifice. Eleme Local Government Secretariat was razed by fire. It was a very clear case of arson. And we have concrete facts. We have evidence of those who actually perpetrated that such dastardly act. You know, it's pained me that if somebody, if a faction of people have disagreement politically, that they could go all the way to destroying what collectively belongs to all of us. Because at the end of the day, the money that we use in building new secretariat is the money from the Element Council Secretariat. It's Element Council allocation, which ought to have served for development of the people. And I want to correct something, an impression that Nyesom Wike being summoned, and he's saying that Nyesom Wike is not guilty or is not culpable because he wasn't caught on the spot, or he did not, or he feels that he has nothing to do with those people that caused those destruction. I want to tell him that in Rivers State, there are societal eyes. Nothing is really hidden under the earth, under the sun. Because Element as a case study, we are aware that those who caused such destruction were those who ordinarily belong to the Nyesom Wike's political divide. And prior to such destruction, such silly acts, there were meetings, there were threats that were covered. It went viral. They threatened, even in their protests. In fact, they acted like they had the judiciary, they had the police, they had Nigeria in their hands, so they could do anything and go scot-free. And nobody would tell me that.
Could you recall one of the protests that the people you're talking about had that was violent? Can you recall one? Where it happened?
Yes.
What day did it happen?
On the street of Port Harcourt.
Where?
They protested against the elections first.
Was there violence?
There was violence.
Where exactly?
There were violence.
Where?
There were clashes on Aba Road.
Aba Road clashes?
Yes, yes. And not only that, in my local government I come from, I'm telling you because I'm from my local government. There were times when these people these boys were attacking and looting shops, attacking innocent, helpless, defenseless market women, and shouting, no Obarelomate, no Eleme, no Wike, no Rivers State. Are you with me?
Can you substantiate that?
I'm telling you, because there are videos. I have them in my phone.
Where they were looting?
Yes.
I'd love to
and I have videos of boys brandishing assault rifles with live ammunition. It's in my phone. In my community was since a Element in local government. They are brandishing weapons and shouting the name of the immediate past local government of Element, Chief Obarelomate, whose name was actually mentioned, who was actually summoned by the panel. I have the videos, live videos. They are not Photoshop. They are.
If I may ask.
So I'm coming.
The former local government chairman that is being summoned, was he in the country when all these incidents happened?
I'm not his family member. I'm not his friend.
He was not.
And I wouldn't know.
Not even in the
I don't know if he was in the country or not. But I'm telling you now that we are aware of the word called sponsor, right? We have sponsors.
All right.
We have masterminds.
Okay.
We have those that orchestrate action, course of action, right? And when a set of youth are chanting and saying with so much confidence, with so much fanatical proclivity, that if this person is not involved, if there is no so and so person, this thing will not hold. There won't be peace. We will not sleep with our two eyes closed.
Right.
And they are brandishing all sorts of assault rifles and weapons. There are documents. There are videos. It's gone viral. You can't delete it. The internet does not forget. And they are calling these names with so much audacity and saying that they belong to so people, they belong to so group. And that is why I am saying that in Element where I come from, where I was a live witness, I was there. We have videos where the secretary was raised. The TV stations covered it. I told you, we spoke, right? I called you that RSTV was there. NTA was there. They were the other sisters were there to cover the wanton destruction. And you are telling me that these things should just go like that, and you're telling me that for a governor or for the state government to set up a panel of inquiry to actually to look into detailed causes of this event, and you want to tell me it's a political witch hunt?
All right.
Where there are established cases of destruction.
All right.
Go to Equity, you see the secretariat burnt. Go to MO and other edges, secretariat burnt, because they couldn't resist those the attackers. Those.
Right. Very well. Wait, hold on. Before you will have your say, but I need to ask you questions based on a lot of things you have said, particularly when you talked about winch hunts. One of the videos that went viral as well, the Ikwere local government chairman, Israel Abosi, was captured driving in with his own people who were also armed as well.
Okay.
And when they got to the center of the local government secretariat, he came down and stood on top of the vehicle that brought him, and they addressed and they chanted as well. They had their own chants as well. Now that's on one hand. You mentioned winch hunt. You have not spoken about the actions of the people of Brengopa, the LML local government chairman, as well.
What did they do?
And his boys.
What did they do?
As well. Hold on. Now, moving forward, let us look at the whole situation of winch hunt. Now, you recall that the River State Assembly complex was bombed. And the governor, in response, demolished the complex and said he was going to rebuild it. Edison here, Victor Okojumbo, Sokari Goodboy, and one other were accused of arson of the River State House of Assembly complex by the River State House of Assembly, and they were suspended. That was the reason for that. They were suspended based on that. And that was a legislative arm of the state. The governor never held a panel of inquiry up until date to investigate what actually happened to date. Now, let's move forward to, I think that should be June, the day the outgone local government chairman, the day their day expired.
Yeah.
You recall that before that day, the River State House of Assembly had extended the tenure of this chairman by 6 months. And this chairman came out to say that they will not vacate the office because their tenures have been extended. And one as Abuja came out in a viral video to say that he's coming out with his boys. In fact, they did a video, I think up to 3, when they were coming out of the creek, when he was giving drinks to them, and he was threatening that he and his boys were going to remove them. And in that video, he called on the government of Rivers State to sponsor him. That he's waiting for them to sponsor him and his boys, that they will remove them. And on the said day, Olawin Godwin, you recall what happened in Rivers State. A police officer died in the fracas that followed. People died in the fracas that followed. And in fact, the event was so disastrous that the IGP of police had to immediately order the Rivers State Police Command to take over all the LGAs and seal it until election is duly conducted. Lives were lost. Properties were also destroyed as well. And the governor never called a commission. A panel of inquiry was never set up. Lives were lost. Does it mean that properties, in this instance, has more value than the life of a Rivers man in the eyes of the governor? Moving forward, I am bringing up this because I want you to marry them when you're looking at political winch hunt or not political winch hunt, because we are looking at all angles. Moving forward, when this local government arson happened, I recall that when the governor visited the Ikwere local government chairman, while he was addressing the people and the press. The governor said that he is sure that his people are not guilty of the arson. He said that.
Okay.
So if he, with his own words,
okay,
he has absolved his people and said that his people are not guilty, it would be safe to assume that he has set up a panel of inquiry to winch on the people who are not his people, who the governor has already judged and assumed are guilty. That's on one hand. Still talking on the governor's statements in face of this crisis. When the outgone chairman, on that day in June, there was crisis and all of that. And as Abuja came out with his boys, also with the boys of whoever, and there was fracas and lives were lost. When the governor was having a press conference, the governor said to the world that he heard that the police, the security agencies are planning to arrest his people, that the police will go through him before arresting one person, that the police will have to go through him to arrest, I mean, it's on record, that the police will have to go through him to arrest one of these persons. These were the statements of the governor. And in that incident, when he was daring the police to arrest anybody that was from his side, he never set up a panel of inquiry. River State House of Assembly complex, the governor never set up a panel of inquiry. Instead, that complex was demolished, thereby demolishing evidences that if there is to be investigation, at least they work with evidence. But by that demolition, you're being hold on, Olori, you have your say. I am not here to be tipata, or I don't know how to be diplomatic when it comes to politics, because I am after governance and doing the right thing. So when persons are raising concerns of winch hunt and no winch hunt, one would expect that with the same vigor that the governor set up a panel of inquiry for this local government arson, the governor will also set up a panel of inquiry for the River State House of Assembly complex and for the death and the fracas and the violence that happened at the expiration of the tenure of the outgone local government chairman. Can you marry the winch hunt and the actions of the governor and this panel of inquiry? After you're done, Emmy, you will not
I want to say categorically that the issue of the explosion that rocked the River State House of Assembly complex and the issue of the local government chairman trying to perpetuate themselves in office after their constitutionally expired tenure, and whatever arose from these two incidents, I want to actually say that it doesn't really relate to the arson that rocked River State and some edge secretariats on October 7th, because you are aware that the incidents are very separate. They are not mutually, I think they are mutually exclusive. Because if River State Assembly was actually bombed, like you said, and the governor feels that the structure has to be demolished, of course, it has to be demolished to erect another befitting one. And up till now, you cannot say that we know those, or it's on tape. There are evidence as to those, or we can ascertain those who actually perpetrated such acts on the assembly quarters. Now let's come to the incident or the crisis that erupted as regarding the tenure allocation of the chairman and how they were actually profited from taking over from remaining in government. I don't know if you would tell me that if President Tinubu's tenure expires, let's say after 8 years, you will tell me that the Senate has right to ask the president to continue for another 6 months.
Yes, they do.
Yes, against the Constitution.
They do.
Yes,
it's not
against the Constitution.
No, it's not.
It's not against the Constitution.
I'm asking, like, is it constitutional?
Yes, it is.
It is constitutional.
Yes.
But is it in the Constitution?
It is in the Constitution.
So are you telling me now that this supposed 8-year tenure that is being spelled out, that is being defined in the Constitution now will be set aside? Are you telling me that?
Can I come in?
I'm asking. Are you telling me that? Are you telling me that?
It is constitutional.
So the tenure of the local government chairman had elapsed, and it behoves them to vacate office after the expiration of their tenure. In the first place, the purported tenure elongation by the assembly you're talking about wasn't supposed to come because those assembly members do not have the legitimacy. They don't have the legitimacy to make such laws because they are no longer assembly members. They don't assembly members because their seats have been vacated before that time. So as a matter of fact, right now we have duly elected and sworn in local government chairman. So the issue of tenure elongation doesn't really apply anymore. We are facing critically the arson on some LGA secretariats on October 7th in Rivers State, which element where I happen to come from was also a victim by the boys, which we are very aware, we saw them, by the boys whom never had any cause they did no cause for remorse. They weren't apologetic, they weren't even sober. They went out causing this dastardly this wanton destruction of government facilities, of element secretariat. And the government, the River State government, has a right to setting up panel of inquiry, because we cannot continue encouraging such violence, such unfounded, unwarranted violence. So it is about time the society calls for some level of decency, such that those who are found culpable should be apprehended. Those who are guilty of it should face the full wrath of the law, so as to deter others from engaging in such future occurrences or future acts. So I do not see anything wrong with that panel of inquiry. And to say that the governor did not set up a panel of inquiry during the assembly quarters that were born, or the violence that erupted during the tenure expiration of the past local government chairman, the governor has the right to set up panels when he deems necessary. So that he did not set up panels at that time, and he set up this one doesn't mean that one has been completely wished away, or that cannot be said. But the government, you can't do everything at the same time, and that is the point. That's the fact. So I do not see where somebody should fault this panel of inquiry. If you fault that panel of inquiry, then it means you are inadvertently encouraging and supporting continuous violence and destruction of public facilities.
All right, Amy, you wanted to say something before. I will read that. I will tell you what even the Supreme Court said in this local government autonomy. In fact, let me even tell you.
I'm coming.
Okay.
Let me just
what the Supreme Court said with respect to National Assembly or state houses of assembly extending the tenure of the president or of the local government chairman. When the Supreme Court was giving judgments on, I think, July 11, on the local government autonomy, July 11, 2024, on the local government autonomy, the Supreme Court said in his verdict, he said that the National Assembly can extend the tenure of a president if it becomes impracticable or impossible to conduct an election. He said, the Supreme Court went further to say, in the same vein, the state houses of assembly can extend, not within a period more than 6 months, which means the state houses of assembly can extend the tenure of local government chairman for 6 months if it becomes impracticable or impossible. No, hold on. Before he said for any reason. Hold on, let me correct it. He said, in the same vein, the state houses of assembly can extend the tenure of local government chairmen for 6 months for any reason if it becomes impracticable or impossible to conduct local government elections. It further went to say in his judgment, he said that the extension of the tenure of the local government chairman is the extension of the mandates of the people that elected them. But they said, but if the tenure of the local government chairman is truncated, which is the norm now, I'm quoting Supreme Court actually, I think I've mentioned that so much that it's literally in my head, which is the norm now, it is now, Emmy, you can have your say.
You see, before I begin, my friend here, Godwin, do you know if I'm so desperate to smear your name, do you know I can go commit a crime and go to the public and be chanting your name? Do you know I can do that?
When you do that, are you? Do you think you will be exonerated? You that is the cause of
fine. Now,
and you think you'll be exonerated?
Fine. This is it. Now, it therefore means that at that point you are assumed innocent. You are not guilty as the governor posited that his men are not guilty. Why some people have been presumed to be guilty, and the panel of inquiry I'm coming is meant to achieve a particular purpose.
We cannot.
Now, what do I mean?
Hold on. Olonwe,
yes.
Kindly don't interject because this is his time and we are almost out of time. You don't interject him.
Okay.
Emmy, you have the mic. Go ahead.
So now the thing now is the panel of inquiry was meant or is meant to find a certain fact, and the Constitution, Section 14 of the 1999 Constitution says the primary purpose of government is the welfare and the security of the people. It didn't say some life or some property are better than some other property. An event took place that has to do with the destruction of the building of an arm of government, right? No panel of inquiry, nothing happened. In fact, there was no issue about that. It was okay. But when another property at the local government level was seen, maybe, or presumably, or allegedly is destroyed, then a panel of inquiry now came and certain names are mentioned to come and testify just because a name was mentioned. You see, if we are living in a constitutional democracy, I always advocate that we must submit our actions to the rule of the law. An assembly who sat like the provision of the 1999 Constitution, Section 91, that set up what an assembly is and what should make up a members of assembly, that says it should not be less than 24 and not more than 40 as enshrined in the law. Then Section 92 then stipulate how a speaker can emerge a speaker of a state of assembly, which Honorable Eddie Sehi and they participated in electing Amir Hule, right? And people are trying to misconstrue and try to misinform people to ensure that certain agenda is established in the minds of the people. And people like me will not allow that to thrive. Why do I say so? The day Eddie Sehi declared himself a speaker was on the 30th of October, 2023, right? That was the day he was suspended, and that was the day the House sat and assembly sat, and there was no faction. There was no issue of defection. All of them were in PDP. The issue of defection took place at about 42 days later. That was on the 11th, alleged defection took place on the 11th of December 2023, 42 days after. So how did you become a speaker that you now have the effort, the powers to declare a seat of somebody vacant? where you are not even a speaker. You didn't even make up the requirement to form a quorum to engage in certain discussion that has to do with the assembly. So how do you declare somebody's seat vacant? You don't have such a power. So all these were all shenanigans. And if the law says an assembly is a power to make law for the good governance of the state, and the assembly simply exercise that power by extending the tenure of some, I think the right way to have done that was to approach the court, and then went to court. And the state high court said they have quashed that law, that they don't have power to do so. Fine. The next thing was supposed to be an appeal. It's the same thing that applies to the alleged defection. You said the people had defected. You went to court. You are in court to challenging that they have defected. The court should declare their seat vacant. And the same you is actually executing whatever that you are asking the court to do already. To the extent that the governor will say, I don't recognize them, I will not recognize them. Do you have the power to recognize or to de-recognize anybody? They were elected at the mandate of the people. So if you are so dissatisfied, you felt that, yes, the assembly has declared their seat vacant, you were supposed to wait for the decision of the court that you ran to affirm whatever you are thinking, but you couldn't wait. You are executing your mind. You will say their seat are vacant now. You taking budget to 3 man. You do whatever, move assembly sitting to government house in order to shut elected members of Rivers State Assembly out. Is that how to govern the state? So for me, I think when I use the word political witch hunt, you set up a kind of a panel of inquiry for a nefarious political reasons. I know what I was trying to say, because there are facts, there are things that to be stated that point out to that fact. So I don't see any reasons why you would try to, make some people guilty even before you ask them for their own opinion or whatever. So, and the panel of inquiry is not binding. If you felt that some people have committed certain crime, like Olowe God will say has video that shows that people were bearing arms, people were doing that, what we are supposed to do was to approach the court and charge them for destruction of public peace and destruction of government property. So you charge them because the law provided for that. You didn't do so. You set up a plan of court to indict and to condemn certain persons. So that is the area. So you have your evidence. Take them to court. That is the appropriate place to vent and to confess some people guilty. It's not by setting panel of inquiry who will perpetrate and ensure that certain political interest is established.
All right.